Friday, everybody. Oh, man, we're so super excited. We got the one and only Brett Green coming on this show this week. And, man, he made his acting debut against the one and only legendary Viola Davis.
And we're not just, like, in a scene with Viola, like, back and forth with Viola. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, intimidating, right?
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, to go toe-to-toe with a legend, and you're just like, ah!
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But, yeah, man, this guy's got so much to talk about. I mean, he's a rapper.
He is a rapper.
He does a little freestyle. I'm sure everybody saw the tease on social media.
That's right.
Oh, man. But in Bones, Ratchet, most recently in Ratchet. So we're so super excited about it. The up-and-comers are going to love this one. That is later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 141 this week. I know.
141.
Dude, it's insane.
Man.
I know. And
we are just like 2 months away from the big 150.
I know. It's weird to think about. It's weird to think about. I mean, going back and thinking about our first ever show and now realizing that we are 141 episodes deep. It's insane.
It is insane. It's also insane to think it's been almost a year since the 100th episode.
Yeah.
I mean, woo. Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
Because we having fun.
Exactly. And you guys know your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
Yeah, buddy, we got a lot to talk about today.
Ooh, boy.
Man, we are going to be blowing through this shit. WarnerMedia is changing the entertainment industry for the good or better or worse. Who fucking knows? Create your own opinions on this one. So we're going to go deep dive in. I'm sure everybody has seen the news that broke on Thursday. But it's insane. But we're talking about SAG-AFTRA. We're talking about the Oscars. We're talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. Everybody had a lot of news this week.
They did.
So we're going to try to hit everything and give everybody equal time. But, of course, I mean, you know, we're the one-stop shop. If it's going down in Hollywood, we are talking about it.
That's right.
And, of course, before we get this thing started, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com. Click on that merchandise tab and start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Of course, our holiday merch is out right now, so be sure to check it out. Bonk as Santa and Bonk in the Santa hat with some Christmas lights. It looks fantastic, guys, so be sure to pick one up now while supplies last, and be sure to wear them while you're opening your gifts on Christmas morning.
Yes, because we have Christmas pajamas.
Yes.
I mean, that's what you want to open your gifts in. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed, man.
Come
Agreed. Let's get this thing started with some SAG-AFTRA stuff. Especially since one of our previous guests, the one and only the legendary Ed Asner, is one of these people that are suing SAG-AFTRA because of the new stuff that's going on due to the health benefits.
Yes. As you guys know, they made some changes. We talked about the contract changes a couple of months ago, right? But the healthcare contention was part of that, and apparently it is not going over so well. So, like J-Lo said, Ed Asner and 9 other members of SAG-AFTRA are suing the trustees of the union's healthcare plan. So that means the people in charge of the healthcare plan for SAG-AFTRA, that's who they're suing. And it's because, I mean, they're saying it's discriminating against old people, age discrimination. And that's because at a certain age, they're cutting off the benefits. And apparently, even if you're not at that age yet, they also changed the requirements for the monthly amount of money or annual amount of money that you have to make per year to qualify for the health care. And during COVID, a lot of these performers haven't met that minimum requirement, so they're losing the health care. And so all that is included in this. Here's the crazy thing. The SAG-AFTRA plan has about 33,000 participants, but only 2/3 are going to receive the continued benefits. 2/3, that means a third of that 33,000 people are going to be screwed, come whenever. And hopefully, I don't know, that doesn't sound good.
I know, and especially with like these 9 other people or 10 other people who are suing the trustees, I feel like a lot of them are either older people or younger people who, like kid actors who are not getting enough hours on screen and working enough. So it's crazy. It's super crazy right now.
It is, and I just feel like even if you didn't meet the minimum requirement or the annual requirement in pay, to Ed Asner is 90 years old.
Yeah.
He has been a member of SAG, the president 2 or 3 times, but anyway, he has paid paid his dues 50, 60 plus years.
Yeah.
Are you telling me he hasn't earned his health care?
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's super shady. It's a very developing story. We'll keep on top of it and talk about it in later shows.
Yes.
And some confusing things happening with the Oscars right now. I mean, everybody knows we watch the trades on IMDb Pro.
Yes.
And freaking Variety and Hollywood Reporter, they are like the two big ones. And they're both saying two different things right now.
They are.
Variety is saying that there will be no virtual Oscars. It will be an in-person telecast like it normally always is. But Hollywood Reporter is saying something different, saying that it is going to be virtual and possibly postponed yet again, because you guys know we've already talked about the Oscars were postponed to April. So now, I don't know what's going to happen. Everything's all up in the air.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Hollywood Reporter being more accurate, though. I mean, we know Newsom just shut everything back down again. You can't gather. You're locked at home. It's a lock-at-home shutdown. So I don't see, okay, in a couple of weeks we're just going to change all that. Let's do the Oscars. I don't see that happening.
Exactly.
So I kind of think that's more accurate, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's going to be crazy. And I mean, plus the Emmys went over very well. So, I mean, why not do something like the Emmys once you're out of this 3-week shutdown, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, I mean, or figure out some other way. But I don't think a live in-person telecast is a smart thing.
No,
so,
I don't think so either. One thing that is for certain, though, there is no dispute here, and we talk about it all the time because we're huge fans.
Of course.
The Mouse.
Yeah.
The House of Mouse. Undisputed reigning champion of Hollywood.
Yeah.
That you can't deny it. And according to a new research poll from National Research Group, they proved it. In a poll, and this was a lot of people, in a poll conducted more than 350,000 interviews about 700 entertainment franchises to discover what was the most desirable by the people that they were talking about. Marvel and Disney and Star Wars blew it away.
Yep.
Disney dominated the top 20 with 70% of the entries, which included film, TV, and video games. The Mandalorian held the top spot. Marvel superheroes, Avengers, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man, Black Widow, Spider-Man filled out the rest of the list, and Netflix got one on there, Ozark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know, it's crazy. It's super crazy. And I mean, they did mention Stranger Things and The Witcher because those are competing things. But I mean, we're always talking about Netflix versus Disney. But man, I mean, we're going to be talking about it, but HBO Max is like lurking in the corner and going to take out both of these two. I mean, they're definitely changing the entertainment industry. But this is by no surprise because obviously Disney is the most like cherished by all the families all over the United States and the world.
And when we get to Warner, I think it's a direct, we've got to do something to compete with Disney.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is crazy. Remember, the Marvel titles aren't even on there yet. So, like, the people want them, and they're not even on there yet. So, wait until the TV shows hit, man. I think it's just going to explode.
Exactly. And with everything being so focused on streaming, Chief Dana Walden is also reshuffling a lot of her executive team that consolidates the company's programs and operations. We talked about this a little bit, because there's a lot of stuff happening. Disney has a lot of different shit attached to it. So, basically, Touchstone is no more.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
No, it's being consolidated into 20th Television.
And it was just a couple of weeks ago we said, Touchstone's back. It's going to be TV.
And it's gone.
And now it's gone. I mean, so.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense because, I mean, having so many different branches, I feel like can be a lot to take care of. So why not just consolidate everything and then figure it out how to make it work either on network or on streaming? I heard a rumor today that Disney is trying to figure out how to combine Hulu and Disney Plus to make it one streamer.
That makes sense. This move seems like that was it because the Hulu executive was out and it now kind of falls under Dana and her group. So I think that, they've consolidated it down to 2 television station studios now. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see that be in the next move somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
we shall see, man. That one's going to be exciting to keep track of.
Worst kept secret in Hollywood this week.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah. Did you see the video? We finally saw the video. And for anybody who didn't know, we've been talking about it for months. Is it? Is it not? Will she? Will she not? Well, now we know for sure. We knew for sure all along anyway, but now we have definitive proof. Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye Marvel series for Disney+. You can't deny it anymore. There was set video. She's dressed in the gear. She's got the bow. Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the dog.
And the dog.
Like, they're going straight comic book. I'm excited as hell. And I think Haley is just going to kill it. She's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, like we talked about before, wait until the Marvel shows get onto Disney Plus. It's going to be so huge, especially when Marvel has all their stuff and Star Wars has all their stuff.
Right?
Disney Plus is going to be like the most valuable streamer at that point. I think they will surpass Netflix at that point.
I do too. And I mean, just the social media buzz alone from the video of the Hawkeye thing shows you.
Yeah.
When that shit hits, it's going to blow up. So
Agreed.
I don't
Agreed. Other exciting things, including Marvel, guys. The 2 years is finally up with the deal between Marvel and Netflix. So Daredevil is finally in the back of the of the hands of Kevin Feige. Now, what's going to happen? We have a lot of theories. Is he going to pop up in Spider-Man 3? I mean,
that's the rumor.
Yeah, we'll see if fucking somebody sees Charlie Cox himself show up in Atlanta. So, I mean,
keep an eye out.
I wish. But also, other speculation is his series going to continue moving forward on Disney Plus, maybe pop up in the movies. Honestly, if they do consolidate the streamer, it would probably pop up on the streaming service. And, of course, because they like to bounce back and forth between the films and television.
They do.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well.
No, and Feige has made no secret that he likes Charlie Cox's version, and he would like to see him in the movies. But, man, the Save Daredevil people were all over it.
Bet.
The day the freaking thing went back, they were like, that's it. Let's season 4 on Disney Plus. Let's move forward.
One of the biggest social media save campaigns ever.
Yeah, and rightfully so, and everybody's getting behind it. So I agree with you. I think season 4 is going to show up on Disney Plus or Hulu, whichever they can get away with. But I think that's the move, and then we see him make an appearance in the movies.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I was trying to wrap my brain around it because it's a very violent series. But now watching The Mandalorian, that's also a very violent series.
It is.
So, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And, I mean, speaking of The Mandalorian, it has officially become the first Disney Plus series to make an appearance on Nielsen's recently launched streaming top 10 list.
Yes.
And it debuted at number 3. And according to the publication, the show's 9 episodes, including October 30th season 2 premiere, were watched a total of 1 billion minutes during that week.
1 billion minutes. You heard that right. With a B. Yeah. And Netflix is quaking because they have dominated the streaming Nielsen's, and no longer. Disney cracked in.
Yeah.
And just wait. WandaVision is right around the corner, y'all. WandaVision is right around the corner. And I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Look out.
Exactly. It's crazy.
The numbers don't lie. We just told you what the people want to see.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
exactly. And more casting announcements for Disney Plus is recently announced. Willow, of course, this is going to be the sequel to the 1988 fantasy film. We all know that Warwick Davis is coming back to reprise his role. But now Ellie Bamber, Kaylee Spinney, and Aaron Kelman is also coming on as 3 female leads for this thing.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting, and these actresses are pretty unwell known, in my opinion. I mean, maybe other people have seen their stuff, but I'm super excited to see what they do because Disney rarely makes mistakes.
No, and I mean the storyline is being hush.
Yeah, nobody.
But we have an idea of who the characters are. Dove, which is Bamber, an unassuming kitchen maid who proves she is the chosen one. Oh, she's like a Jedi? I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
right?
Right? I don't As she embarks on the journey, Kit, the princess whose twin brother was the prince abducted, so we know there's the abduction story. We talked about that. And Jade, a servant who is Kit's best friend and moral compass. So those are the 3 girls. We know they're after the one twin brother, and how Willow fits into that, how it's all going to play down, we don't know.
No.
But we'll know soon.
Yeah, super excited about that one. More exciting news. This is the biggest show out right now. A lot of people are talking about it.
Yes.
Big Sky. So everybody wants to be attached to this thing. So
true.
With that, more casting announcements came. Camille Sullivan.
Yep.
And then Chad Willett. And then Patrick Gallagher, who was Attila the Hun in Night of the Museum.
Yes. Very
he
good.
Is set to join the cast of Big Sky. Now, it's super exciting because Attila he's he's going to be like a sheriff, badass, because, I mean, of course.
Yes.
And then, I mean, the two other are going to be the parents of a kidnapped sisters.
Which, it only makes sense, because we've been wondering where the parents are for these two kidnapped girls since the show debuted. It's like, has anybody contacted the parents?
Right.
So it's about time we see them.
Hell yeah.
And if you were worried about Brandon Routh,
No one.
where's he going after Legends of Tomorrow? Is he going to be okay? Are they doing a Superman thing? Well, I'll tell you what. He's going to be okay, guys. He's headed to ABC for The Rookie. He's going to join Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Which only makes sense because Nathan Fillion is a big comic
I
geek
could
and
see him
big
being
fan.
a detective, too.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's supposed to have, like, a series or a season arc, so I'm pretty excited about that. And, I mean, plus, he's a great actor, so I feel like this, like, role could also extend to further seasons.
Yeah, I think so, too. And an 11-year veteran.
Yeah.
He's playing an
That's what it
11-year
is.
veteran.
So,
Doug Stanton.
super
That is
excited.
Doug Stanton.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Brandon Routh name, doesn't it?
It
Doug
does.
Stanton.
Oh, my goodness. Now, Emmy-winning actress Felicity Huffman. Why does that name sound familiar?
You know, it's the one that actually felt bad.
Yeah, the one that actually pled
Fuck you,
guilty
Becky.
and fucking admitted her shit. Her shit does stink, and she said so herself.
That's right.
She is actually coming back because, you know, once you admit your wrongs, you actually still have a career.
That's right.
She is coming back after her short prison sentence for a single-camera comedy that has landed a big pilot production commitment at ABC Signature.
Yes.
It's an untitled comedy at the moment, inspired by Susan Savage, a real-life owner of a AAA baseball team, the Sacramento River Cats. And
Yes.
now Huffman is going to be playing the unlikely owner of the minor league team who suddenly inherits this after the loss of her husband.
Yes.
So I could for sure see this.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited because did you see Peanut Butter Falcon? Yes, Zach Gaddiskin is going to be the son in it.
That's cool.
And yeah, he's a phenomenal actor
He is.
with Down syndrome, and the character's son has Down syndrome. So I'm super excited because I loved him in Peanut Butter Falcon, and I'm a huge fan of Felicity Huffman, even more so when she owned up.
Exactly.
Good job, Felicity.
Good person. Good person.
Not like Aunt Becky.
No.
No,
That bitch.
no.
Oh, man. Other things happening. Hulu has landed Elizabeth Moss. They have a pretty good relationship.
They do.
In the upcoming limited series, Candy. Now, this limited event series is set in Texas in the 1980s, not Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
But is based on a true story of a killer, Candy Montgomery, and her victim. Man, this girl just loves playing that horror
She does.
thriller shit.
She
I
does.
mean, fucking Handmaid's Tale, The Invisible Man, now this. But I'm super excited about this. She will play Montgomery, who is seemingly had it all together. A loving husband with a good job and a daughter and a son. You know, picture perfect family. And, you know, so why did she kill her friend from the church with an axe?
Her friend from the church.
From the church.
What are you doing? Remember when she was the good girl, Zoe, President Bartlett's daughter on West Wing? No, she's
No.
not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
Crazy, but yeah, I'm super excited about that. Hulu is doing some great things.
Yes.
Now heading over to WarnerMedia. This is the big story of the week, guys.
By far.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. WarnerMedia is making unprecedented move by any filmmaking studio. Like,
Yes.
this is absolutely insane. In response to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which has shuttered all movie theaters around the country and world. Everybody can't go to their theaters. I mean,
That's
some
it.
are open. But it's decided for the 2021 release schedule for a 17-film slate year. It will now hit on HBO Max and in theaters, wherever you can see those movies, on the same day.
Shutting down the window.
Yeah.
That 90-day window where you had to wait before, like they're doing with Wonder Woman. Remember, we talked about this last week. They announced that they were going to do this with Wonder Woman, and I guess it went over so well they said, fuck it, let's do it with all of them.
It's crazy.
Theaters are not happy, guys.
Not at all.
And it only makes sense because this could be the final nail in the coffin for the theaters. And here's a reason why, because some of these films are going to be huge that
Huge.
would have been tent poles at the theaters.
Yeah.
Talking Suicide Squad, Matrix 4, Dune, Godzilla vs. King Kong, Space Jam, Tom and Jerry. Tons of
So
tentpole
much shit,
films
yeah.
that the theaters were desperately waiting for.
Oh, man.
Stock market didn't like it either. After Warner Brothers Pictures announced the news, Cinemark shares lost 22% of their value almost immediately. AMC, the biggest chain, lost 18%. IMAX down 8%. So they were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
It's really crazy. It's really crazy. And I mean, AMC boss Adam Aaron responded to the announcement by saying, clearly, WarnerMedia intends to sacrifice a considerable portion of the profitability of the movie studio division, and that its production partners and filmmakers to subside its HBO Max startup. And as for AMC, we will do all in our power to ensure that Warner does not do so at our expense, and we will executively or aggressively pursue economic terms to preserve our business.
That was a nice shot across the bow.
Yeah.
We will do everything in our power, meaning we're not backing down and we're coming after you. We are not going to sit for this. Cinemark also responded saying, in light of the current operating environment, we're making near-term booking decisions on a film-by-film basis. They're basically telling Warner Brothers, you may want all your tent poles to have this, but we're only going to pick the ones we want, and it might not go the way you want. To which Warner Brothers and WarnerMedia responded, hey, this is only a COVID procedure. Once it's all back to normal, it's going to go back to normal. But can it? Right. I mean, that's the big question.
Yeah, and I mean, with this, they also canceled their free trial plan. So, I mean, it makes sense, though, because, I mean, with all of their huge movies, tentpole movies, going to HBO Max, I mean, why sign up for the free trial when you just need to have it? So, it's super crazy, super crazy. A lot of analysts are back and forth with AT&T right now. There's some are saying it's good, some are saying it's bad. My stock is staying pretty steady. But yeah, man, I mean, it's super crazy. But I think with another shutdown bound to happen, this might just be the new precedent.
I think so. And I think, our thing now that we're going to be watching over the next few days is how does Disney respond?
Yeah.
We've seen that Disney has made the huge surge towards Disney Plus. We just told you the numbers for Disney Plus. They're racking up subscribers. But we've also heard Alan Horn from Walt Disney Studios say, we don't like this sending our films to the streamer. We want them in theaters. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they respond to it.
Well, it would be interesting if Alan Horn will stay on the next 3 years because of COVID and because of streaming. I think he might just go ahead and retire.
Yeah, and
I could see it.
Honestly, we've seen one guy that's okay making the push towards the streamers with the Marvel Universe and tying the movies in that. Maybe Kevin Feige takes over as the head of Walt Disney Studios, and then, I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
But, but you said another shutdown happens. Guys, they're constantly happening. A team member working on the CW's Flash tested positive for COVID-19. Out of abundance of caution, the production of the series has been temporarily suspended. That's in Vancouver. HBO's Scenes from a Marriage miniseries starring Jessica Chastain. COVID-19 shut down because the members had it. So, guys, it's happening no matter what. Even with all of the safety precautions, COVID ain't going anywhere, at least not right now, and productions are being shut down, and that is why you are seeing these shifts. I mean, I just don't see it ending, man.
I don't either. It's gonna be a while before things focus not on streaming.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's insane. It's definitely insane. I think this is a smart move by HBO Max and WarnerMedia, but I also think that I don't want the theaters to die. Even though I'm a new school guy, I don't want the theaters to die because, like we've talked about before on the podcast, it's very much an experience. Like, you're not going to get that experience.
I mean, can you even imagine going to see Avengers Endgame going to see it in a theater when that hammer comes flying into Cap and all of them come up and the crowd is cheering and everybody's screaming? And I mean, our theater had a standing ovation and applause. Yeah. I would miss that horribly. If you don't get that, at least for the tentpole movies.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Agreed. But an HBO and HBO Max huge show right now has just released one of the first 2 special episodes. And I'm talking about Euphoria, which I just jumped on. I'm like on episode 5. It is set to drop.
I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah, please don't. But yes, the first episode is out right now. It dropped Thursday, December 3rd. And 3 days ahead of its HBO premiere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's supposed to drop, what, Sunday, Saturday?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's super exciting. And do we know what day the second episode's going to drop?
We do not yet, but since this one they decided to drop early, I'm betting the second one's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's riding high right now. Zendaya is riding high. It only
agree.
makes sense that they're trying to capitalize on that. So, especially because Netflix right around the corner's got Zendaya's movie coming.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're like trying to keep that. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
hold on.
Great show, though, guys.
Oh,
Great
man,
show.
so
Definitely
good.
not a kid's show, so do not sit
No,
down
you
with your
heard our
kids
guest
and
Shanola Hampton talk about after she
Hell
watched it. She's
no.
never letting her kids outside again.
No. No.
It is definitely not a kid show.
And HBO's huge show right now, which I didn't know about this show at all until this past week.
And now it's ending.
Yeah, The Undoing, the finale had the series high of 3 million viewers across all platforms on Sunday night, becoming the most watched night of viewing for an HBO original series since the season 2 finale of Big Little Lies back in 2019.
Yeah.
It's super crazy, man. I'm proud. I'm super happy for him. But I mean, yeah, I had no idea the show he was even a
Me
thing.
either, but apparently a lot of our friends did. I mean, I saw Spencer and like a bunch of our buddies and former guests were all watching it. I'm like, I've never even heard of it. Like,
Yeah.
But oh well, we can't know everything.
Everything.
I mean, come on.
There's so much. There's so much. Oh man, this is by no surprise.
No.
'Cause Charlize Theron and her Denver and Delilah production banner is amazing, and they have just inked a 2-year first look deal with HBO and HBO Max. And under the deal, we've said this multiple times, she and the company will develop TV projects and other projects for both premium cable and the streamer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
sense.
like you said, she's awesome, and it only makes sense. She pumps out quality material. So I mean,
Every time, too.
every time,
Like,
yeah.
She's got good people attached to her.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Dust, you said what's happening with Brandon Routh, but what about David Ramsey?
Right.
Well, we have the answers. Oddly enough, there's so much. David Ramsey's returning to the CW's Arrowverse.
Yes.
Yes, you guys know him, John Diggle from Arrow. You guys know. He's set to direct 5 episodes in the Arrowverse, including new episodes of Superman and Lois, Supergirl. He's also going to guest star in 5 episodes across the shows, returning as John Diggle in Superman and Lois, Supergirl, The Flash, and Batwoman. That's interesting
That is
he's
cool.
going to make an appearance in
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets really fun, guys.
Yeah.
He's also going to appear on DC's Legends of Tomorrow as a mystery character.
Ooh.
Now, the betting money is on. He's going to be John Stewart, not John Diggle, but John Stewart, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That would be my bet, but I could be wrong because they did kind of set up Diggle as Green Lantern.
They did.
So I don't know, but I mean, you guys know how the whole Arrowverse works in the multiple Earths. There's doppelgangers in it. It would only make sense that he could pop up as another version Green Lantern.
Exactly.
That's my hope anyway.
That would be badass.
It would be.
Super great actor. I didn't even realize he was a director. So that's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, made his debut on Arrow.
Nice.
Like, yeah, so directing. So
Epic,
he's a
man.
badass, and he's ripped.
Yeah, he really is.
Stephen Amell made everybody
huge.
be like, "Damn, we need to get
Yeah,
on
we
that."
need to
Like, I mean,
fucking- Who am I?
that's right. Alan Maldonado, remember? He's like, "No, I saw Amell. I gotta get ripped." Like,
Hell
it's
yeah.
just crazy,
So
man.
great. Speaking of DC properties affiliated,
Yes.
Watchmen actress Jolie Hyung Rappaport is joining. I know, thank you. Is joining the cast of Head of the Class. It's a reboot at HBO Max. I didn't know Head of a Class was a real thing. I bet you knew this.
Yeah, Howard Hessman. You remember Johnny Fever from WKRP in Cincinnati? He was the teacher.
Okay.
And Brian Robbins was the little thug wearing the leather jacket, you know, the kind of the hood, who went on to create Smallville and many other things. He's a huge production guy. Dan Schneider was
all
the
right.
big fat nerd. He's responsible for damn near every kid show on Nickelodeon. iCarly, Jock and Drace, like Jake and Josh. I can't even speak. All of them. So yeah, and Robin Givens.
All right.
Spawned off of this show, and a real life princess.
Damn.
Like she married a prince and became a real life princess. Like there was so many people on the show that like went on to huge careers.
So, of course, you do not agree with this reboot.
I do not. I'm not a fan of the reboot at all. So, and not only they're changing Howard Hessman's character to a female. Like the teacher's going to be a female, not like.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, they're just trying, man. They're trying.
They're trying.
But yeah, Jolie, she's going to be Michaela Washington, a business-savvy, life-chronicling insta-queen in the series that revolves around a group of overachieving high school students.
So I'm betting she's going to be the Robin Givens character. Because she
Probably.
was the rich girl spoiled brat,
Yeah.
so back in the day. So I'm guessing this is going to be that.
Yeah,
But,
it shall be interesting. It shall be interesting.
All right.
Shantae Bowen and Jariah Milligan, two of the members of the Astronomy Club comedy troupe, are teaming up again on a comedy about an all-black detective agency for HBO Max. I'm super excited about this. It's a yet untitled comedy that follows a group of self-described sleuths who unite themselves and create Harlem's last all-black detective agency after an outbreak of petty crimes that go unsolved.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
It does
to me.
sound interesting.
I mean, go for it.
And damn near original story. I don't know of a fucking show like this at all.
No,
So,
I mean, I
original
know a drama about an all black law firm, but not that's on CBS All Access.
Exactly.
Good Fight.
Good Fight.
For anybody knows.
Check it out.
This next one I'm really disappointed about.
Yeah.
Switching over to the Viacom CBS. Emma Stone is apparently dropping out of Damien Chazelle's upcoming Babylon.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But there's no conflict. There's no problems. It's just a scheduling issue. She had to drop out because of scheduling. But there is good news. Margot Robbie is apparently in talks to replace her. So what?
I mean, if you are going to replace Emma Stone, I mean, Margot. Like, come on now.
I mean, seriously. And for anybody who doesn't know, this one is kind of set in the 1920s at the end of the silent film era and the beginning of the talkies. So Emma was set to play Clara Bow, the big it girl in the silent film era that kind of was transitioned, into talkies. So that would be who Margot would play, I'm assuming. And also she would be reunited with Brad Pitt, who's apparently going to be the male lead in a fictional character. Clara Bow was real, for anybody who wasn't around then or doesn't know old Hollywood. Yeah. But Brad Pitt's character won't be real. Brad Pitt is real, but his character won't be.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is exciting, though, to see the two of them reunite. That'd be really cool.
I agree, man. I agree. Anything those two put their hands on, it's going to be perfect.
Yes.
Oh, man. But a shocker nobody saw coming. Jessica Perry.
Yes.
Perry, a female lead in the CBS hit series SEAL Team, made her farewell as the series regular on the show.
Yeah.
In the fourth season opener.
Yeah. I was
Out of
kinda
nowhere.
bummed.
Yeah.
No. I mean, Jessica Perry, I've been a huge fan since Jack and Bobby.
Yeah.
Then, of course, she was on Mad Men. And I mean, she's done a ton of stuff. But she was the female lead on this one. And apparently, they just, in the storyline, they came back from this mission and she said, I just can't do this anymore. This is not who I am. I don't want to continue to do this. And if I don't leave, and stay, you'll convince me to change my mind. And so that's how they wrote her out. And then I guess the creators behind the show said they want to keep this as real as possible. And apparently this happens after so many years in and such intense. You guys know the SEAL teams. I mean, they took out fucking Bin Laden and shit. Some of them just wash out. They can't do it anymore.
I can only imagine the mental health strain that takes.
Yeah, but don't fear. Jessica's not leaving altogether. She's going to be behind the scenes, making the transition to director, and she'll be directing an episode or two for the upcoming season.
That's pretty badass.
That's awesome.
Exactly. I love when shows give their cast members an opportunity to step behind the camera.
Yes, me too.
Such great stuff. The hit show right now, CBS legal drama All Rise, has made another casting announcement. And Hetchy has joined the cast for season 2, and she's going to play Corinne Cuthbert, an infamous trial attorney who is often called upon by the police unions to defend officers accused of violent crimes. Ooh, I'm excited to see where
now,
they're going.
If you guys saw last week's episode, you know where this is going because there's an old case that looks like, cop claimed a guy had a gun, but he didn't have a gun, and the cop shot him, so we're going to be going there. And so I'm guessing that's my man Luke, J. Alex Brinson. And we got all kinds of stuff going down with that, so that's going to be really good. And I'm still not okay that Luke and Emily are not together. Let's get that shit taken care of, okay? I don't want to. Come on,
man.
Get them back together. I don't care if you drag it all out and he's got her and she's got him, and get them together in the end, or I'm not going to be happy.
Agreed. CBS is also taking some risks because this is kind of a storyline that not a lot of people talking about, and I'm talking about foster parents and foster kids and foster homes. films. They are developing a single-camera comedy about foster parents and children that from feature writers Chris Hazard and Michael Fontana, and it's going to be titled Foster and Friends, inspired by Hazard's experience as a foster parent, and it follows 3 foster parent couples who team up to adopt a sibling set of 5 children, and the result is going to be 3 different types of parents raising the group of kids. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how everything kind of interacts. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of, like, Council of Dads in a way.
Yeah, and the Mark Wahlberg film where they did the foster
Instant
kids.
Family
Yeah,
or whatever.
Instant Family, yeah. So, which was also based on a true story. The creator of that movie was also in the foster system. So, but this is interesting, though, to keep the 5 kids together.
Yeah.
The 3 parents are going to have to try to come together
To work
kinda
together. It'll be interesting to see if they're, like, strangers at first, too.
Yes, yeah. It's good, though. I like risks.
Deep. Oh, this is by no surprise because after like the Comey rule, and people are very political right now.
They are
very interested to see how it all went down. They love the behind the scenes stuff.
Yes.
So by no surprise, there is going to be a film. I believe a film or is this a television show or a film?
It's going to be a series, a limited series.
Okay, it's going to be a limited series about Joe Biden's rise to presidency.
Yeah, so pretty exciting. I mean, because it's historic. Oldest guy ever. He's got Kamala on there and like all the kind of stuff that he had. Remember, he wasn't a shoo-in through the primaries.
No.
I mean, nobody thought he'd ever get through the primaries,
A lot
let
of
alone.
people were like bashing him.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting, and like you said, everybody's on pop. And it only makes sense because Showtime, like you said, had a huge hit with Comey Rule. Our man Billy Ray.
Yeah, buddy.
Congratulations. And Spencer was in there. And so.
Whole bunch.
Woo! Congratulations. I'm excited about that one.
Hell yeah.
This next one's exciting too. Armie Hammer. Remember the Godfather show that we told you about that's coming to Showtime? Well, the original series about the making of The Godfather. Well, now we know Armie Hammer is going to join it, and he's going to play producer Al Ruddy. So, that's about all we know so far. We know what the thing is about, but they're very selective of what they're telling us.
Very hush-hush.
But I like Armie Hammer. I think he's a great actor, and I think him coming onto the project only screams that it's going to be
This cast is fucking, like, rounding out to be amazing.
I mean, seriously.
Pumped up, man. Helen Hunt has signed on for a role in the upcoming Blind Spotting series, and this one's going to be set at Stars. Hunt joins previously announced star lead Jasmine Cephas Jones, who is going to be reprising the role of Ashley from the film of which the series is originally based from.
And if you haven't seen Train Spotting, it's a phenomenal independent film back in the day. It went under the radar, but people who saw it caught on to it, and it only makes sense that they're coming with a series. And I got to tell you, Jasmine was phenomenal in the movie, so I'm really excited. And Helen Hunt. Yeah. Mad about you. We love you, Helen Hunt. It's going to be great.
Exactly. Great actor. Now heading over to the Peacock, NBC Universal. Universal Pictures provided Hollywood with an amazing children's film this past week, The Croods: A New Age, and surprisingly enough, it came in at $9.7 million, and globally it estimated around $35.8 million. That's crazy.
Yeah. And 14 million total in just North America.
Yeah.
That's huge considering it was only on about 2,000 screens.
Yeah.
So this just begs the question, with them saying, hey, woohoo, hold on, wait a minute, we made some decent money over the Thanksgiving weekend in limited amount of screens. What are we rushing to put everything on a streamer for? There's still hope for the box office. Universal thinks so anyway.
Universal does think so.
So now we don't know. Was that because of the holiday? Was it because it was an animated film? A lot of kids going to. We should say that the majority of the people that bought tickets, 41% of the ticket buyers, were under the age of 17.
Yeah.
Who, in my opinion, they're not scared of COVID. They're just going.
Yeah, they're just going. They're not paying attention.
I mean, so I don't know what this says, will it be conflicting? Will it not be conflicting? We don't know. But one thing to remind you guys of, Universal has that deal with AMC Theaters about the video on demand window that they worked out that Warner Brothers would just. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Dude, it's super crazy right now. It really is. But, I mean, NBC Universal just nabbed a huge partner, a huge filmmaking partner.
Yes.
Right? And the one, the only, Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
He's coming over with his Amblin Partners, and they've signed a multi-year film distribution deal with Universal Film Entertainment Group, as well as forged a series of new agreements that will provide the company into streaming as well.
Yes.
So,
And this is bad news for Disney because remember when Amblin Partners was DreamWorks, you remember that?
Yeah.
They were with Disney, so that's kind of a takeaway from Disney.
Yeah.
And the company that participant, you've seen it in the front of films and everything. They were kind of like the people that provided the financing in the very get-go with Amblin and everything.
Yeah.
They have decided after this big, huge deal, they're no longer necessary, so they're pulling out, and they will not be a part of it moving forward, and so there you go.
Yeah.
But huge. I mean, anybody who can score Steven Spielberg is a win.
Agreed. Agreed. Universal is also developing an original horror/thriller inspired by the studio's classic Monster Legacy. We've been talking a whole bunch about like these type of movies recently. This is going to be in the Van Helsing world, and Julius Avery, the director from Overlord, and James Wan is producing under the Atomic Monster banner. Nobody knows anything about the script details or how Van Helsing will be used in this film. But yeah, they're really making a push for this monster universe.
Yeah, they are. But like Van Helsing, guys, you had one of the biggest movie stars in the world, Hugh Jackman, when you tried to boot this thing.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
I actually like that film.
I liked it too.
I really did.
But it didn't launch
I
the
know, it
franchise
didn't.
like they wanted it to. And, you know, Tom Cruise didn't relaunch the Mummy franchise like
No.
they wanted it to. Stop.
I know.
Just stop. I'm just saying. Just
Yeah,
stop.
exactly.
This next one is extremely interesting to me. And what poor taste to begin with.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. What the writer's room was absolutely out there with this one.
I mean, seriously, we're talking about Peacock having to make a formal apology to Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Why? Because apparently in the episode of Saved by the Bell, the reboot we're talking about, obviously, there was a joke made by the students about Selena Gomez's kidney transplant. And apparently there was some graffiti on the school wall or whatever that was like, does Selena even have a kidney? Kind of a thing. And so obviously that did not go over well. She was in serious health problems. She did have to have a
She,
kidney
like, almost
transplant.
died.
Yeah. And still is struggling and battling with it, you know, with lupus and with the kidney problems and everything. So, social media blew the fuck up. And they were like, how dare you, you know? And so Peacock immediately came out and apologized.
Good.
They've edited out the joke from the series moving forward, and they're going to donate a bunch of money to Selena Gomez's Kidney Foundation charities and stuff. So, right move.
Yeah.
That was the right move.
Exactly. But it is that fine line. We've always talked about this in like everyday life and on the show. Comedy right now is a very fine line. You don't know where to overstep or where to retreat. So it's weird, but this one was just in poor taste in my opinion.
It was.
Especially if you watch her HBO Max series, Selena Cooking or Selena Plus Cooking, whatever.
Yeah.
She looks weak. She looks a little rough, but this Friends Thanksgiving she just did, she looked a whole lot better. So, I mean, it was really good to see. So, yeah, poor taste. Poor taste, Saved by the Bell writers. Poor taste. But dun-dun. Yes, that is the Law and Order dun-dun. If you don't have Peacock, don't worry, because I know a lot of people were signing up to see old versions of Law and Order and old episodes of Special Victims Unit, but syndication has come through, and it's going to be coming back on cable, so calm down.
Yeah, this was weird to me because we literally just talked about it at the top of the show, everybody making streamer. So to sign this huge deal to bring it back to syndicated television and cable, I was like, what?
It's
Wait,
surprising.
aren't you not? You're trying to get rid of that? Cut the cord, blah, blah. But no, I mean, this huge deal, and they've already sold it to like 60% of the markets across the country at various stations. So that's just how popular Law and Order SVU is.
Well,
man.
I think NBC is still trying to do the old school way of things.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they started their streamer, I feel like, to kind of compete and be like in the it crowd, so to speak, but I still think they're very heavily focused on cable. Still heavily focus on network, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, we see how much, like, actual effort goes into their fucking originals on the Peacock. So.
It only makes sense because NBC Universal is owned by Comcast.
Yeah.
A cable company.
A cable company.
So, I mean, let's see. I mean, could be a reason behind it. I don't know. Just saying.
Oh, my goodness. Jumping over to Sony, they had some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Especially with Hulu. Of course, everybody knows Hulu takes, like, everybody's stuff.
They do.
Sony's Happiest Season, its first holiday romantic comedy about a same-sex couple from a major Hollywood studio, has broken premiere records on Hulu, and this was over a long Thanksgiving weekend. The movie had the best viewership for an original film on the service in its opening weekend, and attached more subscribers and more than any other previous original film that has come onto Hulu before.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome to see, especially when things are trying to be so diverse and so inclusive. So exactly. I love this.
And it says that people are willing to accept and ready to have this be the norm.
Exactly.
It's about time. This is the one with Aubrey Plaza and Kirsten Stewart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a really good one if you guys haven't checked it out.
Yeah.
So
this story is yours.
This one,
that story's yours.
Okay, veteran actor Hiroyuki Sanada
there it is.
Rounding out the A-list ensemble cast of every week we're giving you a new member of this film. Bullet Train, Sony's Bullet Train, starring Brad Pitt. As we've told you on the previous shows for the last 18 weeks, the cast also includes Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, ZZ Betts, Michael Shanahan, Logan Lerman, Masao Soka, and Andrew Koji. They're casting everybody that Danny Strong didn't get for Dope Sick.
Exactly.
I feel like that's what that is. I don't know.
I love it, though. I love it. This cast is amazing.
Oh, so yeah, dude. It's going to kick ass.
I'm pumped for this one. And you're taking MGM as well.
Okay, let's go with... Kiarakanka Kilsher.
Yes.
Sure, that's it. Has joined Channing Tatum's upcoming film Dog. The Yellowstone star will play Nikki in the MGM road comedy, a former partner of Army Ranger Briggs, played by Tatum.
That's cool.
The film follows two hard-charging former Army Rangers paired against their will, Briggs and Lulu, a Belgian Malinu, as they race down the Pacific coast in hopes of making it to a fellow soldier's funeral on time.
Yes.
Along the way, they drive each other crazy, confront the possibility that the pet psychics are real, and begin to reckon with the one thing they were never trained to do.
Oh, goodness.
Surrender.
I'm very confused by this film.
I mean, but it's Channing Tatum in a road trip with a dog and a wonderful female.
Yeah.
And I mean... It's going to be good.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
Oh, my goodness. Heading over to STX, Gal Gadot
finally
is set to star in Heart of Stone, an original international spy thriller hatched by Skydance Media that endeavors to put a female spin on the action franchises like Mission Impossible and 007.
Yes.
The deal is said to be in the 8-figure range, which she fucking deserves.
Finally.
Yes, and is expected to serve as a franchise for Gadot.
Yes,
that's awesome.
So yes, finally putting her at the upper echelon of female actors and right there with the men.
Oh yeah.
Which, in my opinion, she should be paid as high as the men anyway.
Exactly.
Wonder Woman has been kicking ass
like,
everywhere. Like, come on now. But I love that they're like spawning a franchise for her or trying to kick off a franchise.
She deserves it.
She does. Look, she carries Wonder Woman like fucking woo. So I mean, to see her and anybody who saw, remember that spy movie? Now I can't remember the name of it. Forgive me, but her and John Hamm did. She was great as a spy, kind of like. I think this is gonna be epic.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh, here's Aubrey Plaza again.
Yeah, doing
remember
some stuff.
From the movie that we just talked about. She's set to co-star with, no, she's not going to be in a same-sex romantic comedy now.
She is not.
She's going to go head-to-head with Jason Statham. In the Guy Ritchie untitled thriller, formerly known as Five Eyes.
Yes.
We don't know why they changed the name, but they have. And we will tell you when we know. The story follows an MI6 agent, Statham, who is recruited by a global intelligence alliance to track down and stop the sale of a deadly new weapons technology threatening to disrupt the world order. He's reluctantly paired with a CIA high-tech expert. I'm guessing that's Aubrey Plaza. And they're going to, do what they got to do to take down this billionaire bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Statham movies are Statham movies. They're fun. They're full of action. And a lot of people get beat up and killed. If that's your thing, you're going to love it. It's going to be great.
Jason Statham's a badass.
He is a badass. And I love Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Everything she's ever done, she's been phenomenal.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed. And speaking of a phenomenal actor, especially since I just finished Game of Thrones, my man right now, Peter Dinklage, I freaking hope he comes on the show. Man, that'd be epic. He is set to star in Legendary's new Toxic Avenger movie. This film is a contemporary reimagining of the successful 1984 low-budget cult action comedy hit in which a struggling everyday man is pushed into a vault of toxic waste and he is transformed into a mutant freak who must be shunned and outcast to an underdog hero as he races to save his son, his friends, and his community from forces corrupted by greed and a whole bunch of other shit.
No.
Yeah.
Dinklage, what are you doing, buddy? Look, I'm not going to lie. It's on my cult list. It's on everybody's fucking cult list. The Toxic Avengers, that movie that when you're flipping through and you see it, you're like, what the fuck is this? And it's like a train wreck. You have to watch for a few minutes. And watch the trailer if you don't know what I'm talking about. When I saw that they were doing a remake of it, I'm like, what the... And then Dinklage... What? Like, but you go, man. If you can do this, like, you go for it. But I would have never in a million years said, what's a great movie we could do a remake of? The Toxic Avenger.
Nobody ever thought that was going to happen.
I don't know.
No, but it is the time of reboots. It really freaking is.
But the Toxic Avenger?
I know.
Okay, well, hey.
It is. It is what it is.
It is.
Oh, man.
Okay, you guys, get serious for a minute.
Let's do it.
Know all of us at Crazy Ant, we are LGBTQT strong. We are supporters. We believe everybody should be loved regardless of your gender, regardless of who you love, regardless of your orientation. We are behind every one of you a gazillion thousand%. So we were thrilled when we saw this story. Congratulations to Elliot Page, who formerly Ellen Page, for anybody who doesn't know, and where have you been living under a rock?
Exactly.
Announced that he's transgender and non-binary.
Yep.
So that means that he will go by either him or they and them. And he came out and he said, have patience because he's trying to figure it all out. But this is who he is. His wife was very supportive and very behind it and is on. And then the reason we're bringing this up, guys, one, because of how we feel, but two, huge props to Netflix.
Yes.
And the producers and showrunners and creators of The Umbrella Academy, which, as you guys know, Elliot is currently starring on, as a woman lead. That's not going to change. They are fine with this announcement. They are 100% behind it. They said they have no intention of changing the gender of the character, but every intention to keep Elliot on board as the thing. And Netflix has even gone a step further and already, you guys have probably noticed, changed all of the credits of Elliot's previous works to credit him as Elliot Page. So kudos to Netflix, right move, and kudos to the producers of Umbrella Academy. All good.
Exactly.
All good.
I love that. The UK, everybody knows the hot thing right now is The Crown. Oh, man.
Yes.
The UK's culture secretary, Oliver Dowden, has pressured Netflix into addressing a historic fabrications in its flagship series, The Crown, to make it clear to its 195 million subscribers that the royal family drama is partly a work of fiction. In a statement, he said, quote, "It's a beautifully produced work of fiction, so as with other TV productions, Netflix should be very clear at the beginning as it just is that. Without this, I fear a generation of viewers who did not live through these events may mistaken fiction for fact."
Now, I'm just going to tell you, okay, Mr. Minister, or whatever your name is, I lived through it, and it ain't so much fiction, my friend, okay? They are fictionalizing some stuff, every TV show does. But the shit that's going on between Charles and Diana and Camilla, that shit ain't fiction. You know it ain't fiction. You're just trying to address this because the fans are like, fuck you, pissed, Charles, fuck you. But we all know it ain't fiction, okay? We all know. Real interviews with Diana, real interviews with Charles. It all happened. He's married to fucking Camilla. vanilla now.
Exactly.
I know people are mad, but it ain't fiction. Okay, I'm just saying. You can try to cover it all up, but I lived it. I saw it. Just enough said, man. Enough said.
Goodness gracious. Netflix has also planned to announce to start declaring its true UK revenue, which makes sense because we said, besides the US, that the UK is one of the most popular places for Netflix.
Yes.
And this is due to a growing political pressure on the streamer and reports of an investigation into its low tax bill. Netflix's UK holding company, Netflix Services UK, declared revenue of just $57 million in 2018, despite the streamer having an estimated 10 million British subscribers at the time. Now, the revenue change will go into effect in January, and the company will notify its UK customers about the decision.
Oh.
So, I mean, Netflix, please don't turn into MoviePass.
Right? Man, they're getting all kinds of political pressure,
They
aren't
are.
they? Just like, report your real money, bitches.
I know.
Oh.
I know. It's crazy.
Netflix is giving a 16-episode series order to God's favorite idiot.
Yeah,
I
right?
loved it. Melissa McCarthy, right, and Ben Falcone are teaming up for this, which only makes sense because they team up for everything.
They do.
It basically, I guess it's about a mid-level tech support employee who finds love with a coworker, Emily Luck, at exactly the same time he becomes the unwitting messenger of God.
Of God.
Oh, so... And, of course, they have to stave off an impending apocalypse.
Of course.
Of course.
There's going to be roller skating and a lake of fire and an impending apocalypse.
A lake of fire and roller skating. This so sounds like a Melissa McCarthy project. But good. I mean, I love that, man. I love that.
I love that Jada Pinkett Smith is actually getting it back in front of the camera. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
And she's going to star in Red Zone, an upcoming drama that will be released on Netflix. And the film is based on a true story of Taya McGee, who's going to be played by Smith, a single mother who helps her sons and their high school football teammates, the Bros, heal after the murder of their best friend, which happens all the freaking time in inner cities, and like everybody gets wrapped up in things they shouldn't be. So this is good. We need to tell real stories like this. So.
We do. And for anybody who's not familiar with it, all these guys went on to play pro ball.
Yeah.
Pro football. So, I mean, that's awesome.
Exactly.
This next one, to me, sounds like Netflix is just trying to, like, make its own version of Madagascar.
Yeah.
Netflix's upcoming animated comedy, Back to the Outback, locked in their voice cast. And it's a pretty good one, I'm not going to lie. Isla Fisher, Tim Minchin, Eric Bana, Guy Pearce, Miranda Tapsil, and numerous others. But here's the thing, guys. The film, it's set to debut next fall. It's about a ragtag group of Australia's deadliest creatures who are tired of being locked in their reptile house at the zoo, where humans gawk at them like they're monsters. So they plot a daring escape to go back to the outback.
It does sound like Netflix's fucking Madagascar. What the
hell? Just say it was Madagascar. I mean, except it's the reptiles this time instead of the... I don't know.
Exactly. And Amazon is hopping on a bandwagon. We all know reboots are a thing right now, but also so are biopics.
Yes.
And Ann Wilson announced that a biopic about her band, Heart Barracuda, is developing at Amazon. And the singer said that Carrie Brownstein of the punk band Selter Kinney...
Sleater-Kinney.
Sleater-Kinney. Everybody knows. And will co-star of the IFC's Portlanda and will write and direct the film.
Yes. I'm super excited about this because I fucking love Heart. Anybody who grew up in the 80s and 70s, you love Heart.
Yeah.
I'm super... I have thoroughly enjoyed all of these music biopics.
Yeah, too.
Or documentaries, like all of them. Just watched Folklore.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I'm super pumped about this.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And a huge show right now, Vikings Season 6 will roll out its final episodes on Amazon's prior to the airing on its linear home History Channel. They seem to be doing a lot of this right now. I mean, streamers seem to be bouncing back and forth. But this is a huge show, and everybody knows it's going to be December 30th when it hits, and everybody knows the show from the beginning through the exact date has not been announced yet when this thing will actually hit. But
it is weird, though, that they're going to premiere it like before it goes onto its channel of origin.
Yeah.
That seems very weird to me. Okay. I'm super freaking pumped about this. You guys hear me talk about it all the time on the show. Juliana Margulies, she was on Billions. Oh, I'm catching up on Good Wife. I love Juliana Margulies. So this only makes sense. Super pumped about this. She is joining the cast of The Morning Show for the upcoming second season. How exciting is that? She's going to play Laura Peterson, an anchor at UBA News.
Yeah.
Dude, no other details.
No.
But I'm guessing somehow she's going to be competing with the Jennifer Aniston's character. Because I feel like Juliana Margulies' character is that old school veteran that's going to become maybe the replacement for Jenna. I don't know, but that's my thing.
Right.
I don't know.
A lot of good stuff happening, man. A lot of good stuff happening. The morning show star Gugu Batha has landed a lead role in Surface, a new psychological thriller series development at Apple TV. This is going to be an 8-episode series, and it's coming from High Fidelity co-creator and executive producer Veronica West, and production is slated to begin next year.
I'm super happy about that. As you guys know, she's the one that didn't make it in morning show. She killed herself. So so she ain't coming back. But she's got a new show, so it's all good. Can they just bring High Fidelity back?
I know, right?
I'm so upset about that.
So upset.
Still, man.
I know.
Woo! Did we get through it?
We did.
We got through it.
We're here, man. We're here. It is now time for the guest segment. Brett Green coming on the show. This guy was a whole lot of fun. We delved deep into like more stuff than just the entertainment industry, photography, rapping, music, like life in general.
Yeah.
This guy is awesome.
His approach to not just the career but life, guys, you need to listen to this because he's got it right. And the biggest thing is he gives back. It's important for him to give back, and just it's a great interview, guys.
Agreed. Well, here he is.
Brett Green, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, awesome, man.
Doing well.
Super excited to have you on the show. We couldn't wait to talk to you. We're always looking for people that are like-minded and kind of, approaching the industry the way we do. So we are super pumped to have you on, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, you guys brothers? You guys related or just good friends?
Just good friends.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, we're practically family, but
basically,
not by blood.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I am with my buddies too. Some people are always like, "Are you guys brothers?" And you're like, kind of.
Yeah, damn near.
Brothers, but not blood. So.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. But yeah, man. So listen, what we like to do is kind of start off the conversation with doing a little intro for all the fans who may be listening who might not be familiar with your career or how you got started and everything. So let's jump right in with that. How did you get started in the industry? Was it something you always wanted to do? Did you say, right from an early age you knew you wanted to be an actor, or was it something you kind of fell into, man?
I think it was ingrained. I think it was something that the writing was on the wall for a long time. My grandpa was really big into the theater. He used to take us to plays all the time, and we had a tradition. We'd go see a Christmas story, and it was always something I wanted to do. But I was a sports kid growing up, so I was, now I think kids are a lot more open minded. But back then it was like you either do sports or you do theater. There's no
both. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which really stinks because I wish I would have kind of opened up to that idea a little sooner. So I did some plays and things like that as a kid, but I grew up in Michigan. There's not much film there.
Right.
Still, there was for like a really short amount of time in Detroit. They filmed some cool stuff up there, but for the most part, it wasn't really a whole lot going on, and so it was kind of a wild dream. And then I moved to Arizona after college, so I was a hell of a lot closer to LA.
Right.
And while I was there, I started doing some student films and just started meeting some young filmmakers and realized I really liked both being in front of the camera and being behind the camera. The whole thing was just really fun. So started kind of putting together some YouTube sketch videos and music videos and just little fun stuff, just being creative because I was working a corporate job. I was working 40 hours plus a week. So I kind of had my thing. I thought I did, and this was sort of just like a fun kind of side thing. And one day I remember asking my friend, I was like, dude, we should like really do this, and like move to LA and really try it. And luckily the guy that we worked for allowed us to work from home when we first moved to LA. And that wasn't going to last very long. I knew I was on borrowed time, man. And it was only a matter of time. So I'd been living in LA for like a year or so, and I was just really hitting the ground running. The job was on the complete back burner.
Right.
And I'm doing all these casting director workshops and trying to meet people and agent workshops. And I signed with a really good agency. And so I started to feel, pretty hopeful and excited about things. And I just couldn't get that first booking. And I remember my boss called me one day and was like, dude, your numbers are down, your production's down, you don't seem into it. Like, do you want to just kind of go our separate ways? So I didn't necessarily get fired, but I didn't quit.
Right. It was like a
Right. Yeah.
mutual thing.
Kind of just forced my hand a little bit, and I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, why don't we take 2 weeks, and then we'll just kind of go our separate ways and no hard feelings. And I was like, okay, cool. And within probably a week of that conversation, I booked my first TV show, which was How to Get Away with Murder,
Oof.
with Viola Davis, and it was just a sign. It just felt like, oh wow, I felt like I was kind of confusing the universe or God or whatever you believe in that you think kind of controls things. I just felt
Absolutely.
like I was kind of muddying the waters a little bit of like kind of dipping my toe in the acting world, but sort of still keeping the rest of my body, in this corporate job that had security. And once I sort of let go, and I know it's that crazy like leap and the net will appear kind of mentality,
Yes.
but
Just about to say that. Hell yeah.
That's our favorite quote, man.
oh really?
Oh
That's so
yeah.
funny. I
'Cause-
can't even pretend like I knew. That was blind luck.
Now we again, if you our past episodes, you'll hear that phrase like I can't even count how many times because we're the same way. I feel like that philosophy is like if somebody is trying to guide you down a path, and you can only avoid it for so long before you have to take the chance, man. You got to take the leap.
Yeah, and my dad did a really good job. Right after college, like, when I got the job offer in Arizona, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go. I've never lived away from home like that, and it seems kind of. And he was like, you can always come back. Like, his thing was, I wish I would have gone to the police academy when I
Mm,
was younger, and I never did, and I still regret it in my 60s.
right.
And so, he was like, just do me a favor, just don't live with regrets like that. Just try, and if you don't like it, you come back. So that was kind of my mentality with this too. Was like, if I don't like it, I can always just be like, I'm moving somewhere else, and just and give up. And that was almost 10 years ago. So I figure if I've done it until this point, I met my wife out here. And so things are just kind of starting to come together and fall into place, and it's still an up and down and crazy world that we live in. But I love the opportunity. I love that every day you wake up, there might be an email in your inbox for some crazy show that you never thought you'd be on, or that you're a fan of. That's how I
That's
was when I
it,
got the
man.
audition for How to Get Away with Murder. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is my favorite show on TV right now, and I get to go audition for it. And then when I booked it, I was like, oh, I get to be on a hit show. Oh, I get to do a scene with Viola. And it was just like,
Right.
this is the coolest thing ever. And it just got into my blood, and I was like, I gotta do this again and again and again. And I got hooked, man.
Ugh, the passion in your voice, man, just from like the 5 minutes we've been doing this it's honestly inspiring and it's great to hear. Well,
Oh,
you
thank
brought
you.
up your grandparents and your father and everything. How big was your support system when you said, "All right, I want to leave this 9 to 5 job and go chase my dreams"? Were they completely supportive, or were they like, steady paycheck?
I've never felt a lack of support, so I'll start there. I've never felt no one's ever tried to convince me otherwise to maybe try something else, or I can definitely tell just being my family's in the Midwest, and this is just not normal to them.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So I can always, every time we talk, it's always like, so how's it going?
Right.
Like, and you still feel like, it's just like a foreign world to them. But
Right.
they've always had my back. When I was the first time I was a series regular on a TV show, they had a whole watch party at the house, and the whole family showed up to watch it, which is really funny because it was like a kids serialized drama, but
Yeah.
like it was a weird show.
Yeah.
It was a fun show to be on, but it was just really interesting that my whole family got together to watch that particular show.
Right.
It was pretty interesting. But yeah, they've been really really supportive. So I've been really fortunate because I know some people don't have that experience.
Well, and you mentioned the group of friends that you went out there with, and you met the wife and everything. We just feel like the support system is so important because, like you kind of said at the beginning, when when you were auditioning and not booking anything. I mean, this is an entire industry built on rejection, and you're auditioning 90% of the time and booking maybe 10 if you're lucky. So you've got to have a strong support system in place.
100%. Yeah. And also, like, for me, and this is no disrespect to people who do this, but I learned, like, I don't really want to date an actor. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
Yeah.
think I think one is enough. And I have a lot of respect for the people who, because they're like you said already a couple times, they're like-minded. They
Mm-hmm.
understand how you feel when you get, bummed out about not getting a role or whatever. They can really understand, and there's something really special about that bond and that connection of someone who can really get what you're going through. But there's also something about a steady paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, my wife is the, it's like, we know what she's bringing home every 2 weeks, and it really doesn't fluctuate. Might get a raise every year or whatever. Where me, it's like, I might make I might make 50 grand this week. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I book the right thing. So it's like, you just never know. And that's, I enjoy kind of the unknown, a huge upside potential of literally what any day could bring.
That's it. Well,
Definitely.
and a lot of people won't say this, but I also feel like when it's a couple, that are in the career together and they're both chasing the dreams and they're both trying to make the climb. I don't care how good of a person you are, how nice of a person you are, there's ego involved. And if one of them is booking, and climbing and the other one is not, I don't care how, in love you are, how good, it's going to hurt. It's going to be tough when one is climbing and one is not, and it's going to be hard to watch. I know a lot of people won't say that, but that's got to be true.
100%. Yeah. And what's funny is my wife is not an actress. She grew up in LA, and she did commercials, and she, auditioned for a lot of really big TV shows back in like the early 2000s, like high school time. Right.
Right.
Hmm.
And kind of this, and got really close on a lot of things. Like One Tree Hill, she was really close. And I was like, oh, wow, that would have changed your life. Like,
Right.
Right.
could you imagine? But she just kind of gave up. She was like, I don't really love it, and I don't want to do it. And I'm like, I totally respect the fact that you grew up in this town. You did pretty much what everybody expected you to do. You're pretty, and you can talk, and you got a great personality and all that. Like, so yeah, of course you tried it, right? But the fact that she didn't stick with it and was just like, I'm not going to force it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. But yet, once quarantine happened, and all of a sudden now, she's working from home
Mm-hmm.
and has some availability, my agent was like, hey, do you think your wife wants to go out on some auditions with you? And I was like, I don't know. I've never asked her. I'll check. And she was like, I mean, I guess I'll go on one. And we went on a couple, and we booked a Dr. Pepper commercial.
Oh,
Nice.
It's been airing during college football. It's the Fansville with Brian Bosworth.
Oh,
yes,
And
that's epic.
fantastic.
yeah, so, and what's funny is my wife actually booked two commercials. I only booked one, and
There it is.
they took away all my lines and gave them to her.
And you're
So
like, after quarantine, this is over, right?
Right.
right. So to answer back to your point of like one person always, it's funny because she's like, I feel so bad. Like, this is your thing, and I'm like, all the money's coming to the same account.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care one bit. Go book 100 commercials, babe. I don't care.
There you go.
That's so great. And I mean, on top of that, like with the industry being filled of rejection, like Dustin was talking about, 90% auditioning, 10% actually acting, how important is the mental health aspect of you? Because I can imagine that if you go on so many auditions and you can't get all these roles, say for like 6 months to a year, it gets you down. So, I mean, when you approach a role, do you have a certain mentality or like, okay, if I get it, this is going to be great, but if not, I'm still going to be okay?
Yeah, I think it's smart for everyone to. It's like, it's hard because you don't want to go into it being like, I'm not gonna get this,
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm gonna, because that's not a very good attitude either. But I think I like to be, I like to feel genuinely surprised when my agent calls me, and because that's usually the only time they're calling, right? It's like
Yeah.
either really bad news or really good news. And so whenever they call, it's always, I like the mystery of like, why are they calling? Oh,
Mm,
maybe it's about, maybe it's about that thing, or maybe they just need some sizes or whatever. And when they tell you, hey, you booked it, it's always like, booked what? You know what I mean?
Hell
Like
yeah.
you kind of forget, and then they start telling you, and it's just like this whole new rush of excitement because you're like, oh, I forgot about that thing. Because when I first moved here, it was like, hey, did you guys hear anything? Have you heard anything back? Did I get that? Did I get? It's like, no, usually, you know how it works. Sometimes you find out the next day, sometimes you find out 2 weeks later. You just don't know.
that's it.
But I think if you just let it go, and not be so attached to booking it and getting it. Like there's certain things, like I auditioned for a movie that Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington were in, and I like those are like two of my favorite all-time actors, and I'm like, I have to get this. I have, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm probably not going to, but like, I really want to. And so you can get really excited about those kind of opportunities, or if you just think you're perfect for a role. But for the most part, I think the more you can just kind of let it go and have other money making avenues that maybe still kind of stay within the creative realm, so you're not just like completely selling your soul and like waiting tables and whatever other cliche job you think you should get out here. I picked up a camera and learned how to take photos, take headshots,
Mm,
and do that kind of thing, and I was able to kind of skate by for a while, and now it's this commercial thing is where like, okay, there's a stream of income coming in there, which then makes you feel like you don't have to like rely so heavily on the theatrical auditions that right now are so few and far between. It's like
Right.
you just can't get your hopes up too much. You got to just be a good manager of expectations. And so, in terms of like mental health, I would just say, don't get too high and don't get too low, and just really try to stay in the middle there, and you can't go wrong.
Ooh, that's a soundbite right there. Just
definitely.
saying, just saying. But you brought up the photography aspect, and as a fellow photographer myself, what's your favorite thing to shoot? Do you like shooting portraits, or are you more like a landscape guy? What's your favorite thing?
I love portraits. I love taking photos of people. Headshots themselves aren't that interesting. I feel like you can try to make them as interesting as possible.
Right.
But I love taking pictures of people, even more like fashion editorial style photography. And my wife really wants me to be a landscape photographer. She's like, we need some new photos for the house. And I'm like, I got a ton of photos. She's like, yeah, but they're all photos of people, and I'm like, well, that's kind of what I do. Like, you can't, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, if I'm gonna put photos up in my office, I'm not gonna sell out and go start taking photos of mountains all of a sudden.
Right. That's so funny, man.
What
And I
type of
mean,
stuff do you take photos of?
I really like the street art photography, like just taking pictures of people, in their natural habitat, maybe just walking down the street to work or like coming out of
Yeah.
Starbucks and things like that. But I like landscapes as well. I mean, I do a little selling my portraits or selling those on the side, so that does really well. But yeah, street photography mostly. And I mean, you being so big into YouTube, are you a fan of Peter McKinnon? Have you ever watched any of his stuff?
Yeah. He's super talented.
Yeah, and I mean, because I saw that you learned a lot of your photography trade from YouTube. You can learn so much from YouTube. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I just had a conversation with a friend today who's sending his kid off to college next year, and it's private school, but it's like $70,000 a year.
Whew,
Yeah.
whew.
And I'm like, you're telling me you're going to come out more than $250,000 in debt, and all this information is available on YouTube
Right? Like, shit.
Exactly. You can
for
educate
free?
yourself for free. You know what I'm saying? But
You just don't get the paper.
that's it. That's it. Are you a black and white guy or a color? We know, black and white is dead for headshots. That's a pretty much old school dead. But what about for photography for yourself? Like, are you a black and white guy or color or what?
Oh, black and white is one of those things. Like, I'm always like, oh, why didn't I take any monochrome? You know what I mean? Like, and just
Yeah.
Right.
switch the setting over, and you can always do it later. But yeah, black and white is so timeless, and so it's so fun to work with. And so yeah, I mean, I mostly shoot in color. But there are certain times where you're like, this feels like black and white, and that's kind of the aesthetic of our house now too. Everything is white or were black and very clean lines and everything. So I have a feeling I'm gonna start taking some more black and white photos here because we just moved into our place, so we have a lot of walls to cover
There you go.
Oh,
with
nice.
art.
There you go. Well, I want to jump back into the career a little bit. You brought it up earlier, and I mean, I have to know because Viola is so damn powerful.
Yeah.
She's so like, oh shit. What's it like? You get that phone call. It's your very first TV appearance, your very first book, and you're like, you're gonna be in a scene with Viola Davis. Was that like an oh shit, like super excited, and then oh shit, I have to be in a scene with Viola Davis? Like, how did that go, man?
That's pretty much exactly how the range of emotions went. It's like, because I auditioned for the in the scene I auditioned for. I knew that I was auditioning or reading basically with her character,
Right.
and being a fan of the show, like I knew exactly who she was. I mean, she's such a hard ass on that show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in pretty much everything she does, right? And in the episode that I was in, I played a police officer who found this piece of incriminating evidence against her.
Mm.
And she looked at me in the rehearsal and she gave, I was like, oh, I found, and I held up the piece of evidence and she looked at me like, boy, you better put that down. You know what I mean? Like, and it was so intimidating. One of my really quick favorite stories to tell is like, I thought I was ready for the big role. I wanted the big, the big huge thing, and my first booking on How to Get Away with Murder was one line.
Right.
And the line was, I think I found something. And we're going through rehearsal. I had no idea what a rehearsal was. I'd never been on a TV show before. And so I didn't know how it worked. And the director was like, okay, Brett, and then you come over here and you pick the thing up. Hey, there's something over here. He paraphrased my line. And but I was like, well, that's what he said. So
Yeah, you're like,
he's the director, So the first take, I said his paraphrased line because I figured that's what he wanted me to say. And somebody yells over from the other side of the wall. The script supervisor was like, "Hey, Brett, it's actually," and she corrected me, and I felt so dumb
You're
because
like,
here I
damn.
was with one line, and I
Right.
couldn't even get the one line right. And so I was like, "Okay, noted. I will read from the script next time."
Oh man, that's fantastic. And was Viola understanding? She was like, "No, that's okay. You're all right."
Yeah, dude,
Or she's like, "You
she
couldn't
was
get
so
one
sweet.
line."
No, she was so sweet. That day they had her working like she worked like 16 or 17 hours that
Oof.
day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm literally, sitting there next to her the whole time when they're, second teams in there, they're lighting and everything. And I'm sitting next to her. It's literally just her and I. And I'm like, don't talk too much, but like, it's weird if you don't say anything. And,
Right.
and so I was like, Miss Davis, I really loved you in The Help. I was like, of course you did, Brett. She got, everybody liked her in The Help. But she was so sweet, and for the amount of hours she worked that one day that I got to be a part of her world, she was so sweet to me, and it was just a great first experience with, an A-list celebrity who was pretty generous with her time. So
Absolutely.
I'll always be really thankful for that.
Well, that's good to hear because one of our past guests, Kirk Boville, him and his wife are like really good friends with Viola and her husband. They hang out together all the time. They do things together. And he mentioned just how down to earth and real of a person she is. I feel like that's always true. I think people get so starstruck and treat these people as if they're on a pedestal, but most of them are just down to earth, real people that just want to be treated like everybody else.
Right. And, when I first moved out here, I did catering events for a very short amount of time. But I got to rub elbows with some of the biggest celebrities. We're talking like Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith
Mhm.
level. You know what I mean? Like, not by rub elbows, I mean serve tuna tartare.
Right.
And so and to be around people like that, I always hated when servers were like, oh, he's such a dick, that guy's he's such an asshole. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, but you saw him for like 10 minutes. Like, you don't know that he could have had a bad day. He could have just got bad news, or he could have just not really cared that much about you as a person.
That's
You know what I mean?
exactly
Like, what
it,
does he
man.
have to? Like, he didn't say thank you because you gave him his drink or whatever. Like, sure, I think you should say thank you to wait staff and all that. But like, if you forget let's not go spreading rumors now around town that Ben Affleck is an asshole because he didn't say thanks. Because you know what I mean? It's like I've never liked that. I'm always like, let's give these people the benefit of the doubt
There
because
you
when
go.
they're out and about, everyone knows who they are, and that has to be so much pressure.
Mm.
Oh, can only imagine. And I mean, what we like to talk about a lot on the show is going back to these are just real people doing a job. Yes, it gives them all this notoriety, but at the same time, like they're just like you and I. They have bad days, they have good days, and I mean, sometimes they just don't want to be talked to. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's yeah, that's the bad thing is like, if you only get one day on set with one of your idols or one of your
Right.
favorite actors and they just maybe happen to be off that day, you just hope that people can kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and not, hold that against them for the rest of their lives, or maybe you just hope that their paths get to cross again and they can and they can kind of redeem themselves or whatever. So, yeah, it's like you don't go goo goo gaga over your dentist or over the person at the
Exactly.
DMV.
Like
You know what I mean? It's like they're just doing their job, man.
hell
That's
yeah,
it.
hell yeah. And I'm super interested in voice acting, and I saw that you did a voice character for the WWE game. And so how does that happen? Do you have to like audition for the voice process, or does your agent just call you and say, "Hey, I think we got something for you," or how does that like whole process start out?
Man, I wish the latter were true. I wish, I wish it was just somebody calling to say, "Hey, we got a job for you."
Hell yeah.
I think that's how everybody thinks it happens. But no, the for the voiceover stuff, it's a little different. But I actually didn't realize they were very secretive about what that project was.
Oh wow.
Mm.
And so they were calling it like tag team something or other,
Yeah.
and they didn't even tell me it was voiceover. I actually went into a casting office and auditioned as if it were going to be some kind of real, show or movie or
Right.
whatever. And then my manager called me a few weeks later and was like, "Hey, you booked that tag team thing, and by the way, it's WWE 2020 and shoots up in San Francisco, and it's going to be motion capture." Video game, the whole. And I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome!" You know what I mean? I've
Right?
never done a video game or even any kind of motion capture. So yeah, I got to spend like 3 weeks up in San Francisco doing, they put all the dots on you and you do
Yeah.
all the actions and the voice of it was super super cool. Um, Really really grateful for that. I'd love to do more of that.
Definitely, definitely. And then while you are recording this thing, you get a tap on the shoulder from a producer say, "Hey, you're nominated for an Emmy."
Right.
Like, what? That's
Yeah,
insane. What was that
yeah.
feeling like?
Well, I was it was incredible. It was I had almost forgotten about it because the last time that I traveled to South Carolina, which is where we shot the TV series The Inspectors on CBS, we filmed season 3 and 4 simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
So I had almost forgotten that a season had just aired because we filmed it a year and a half ago or
Yeah.
whatever,
Right.
and so I kind of forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is about that time for Emmy nominations to come out. And yeah, when I heard the news, I was just like, because I went down there the first year. I played my character was a paraplegic
Mm-hmm.
who, and they didn't actually cast a paraplegic because there was a ton of flashbacks and things like that in the
Right.
show. But I remember the executive producer the first day on set was like, just so you know, we fully expect you to get nominated for an Emmy for this role. And I was like,
Oof.
gosh, no pressure.
Right? Like,
And
shit.
he was like, no, I just feel like if you can do it right, it has all the makings. It's a good story and this that and the other thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then that season, award season came and went, and I didn't get nominated for it. Next season didn't get nominated. Next season, so I was like, I had forgotten about it. I was like,
Right.
it was a dream, and it would have been great, but it definitely wasn't something I was holding my breath on. So to find out, after the fact was pretty awesome, and I got to take my wife to the Emmys, and I got beat out by a 10-year-old girl, but she deserved it. She was awesome. She was super sweet, and she didn't rub it in my face or anything.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, it was a cool experience.
Well, I want to talk about that too because I mean, like Logan said at the top, with the passion that just comes through when you're talking about what you do, and clearly the love you have for the industry. I want to talk about how you've been able to navigate successfully the ups and downs because, like you said, you come in, your first you book is on a huge show, right? And then you probably go a little stretch without getting some stuff. Then you're the lead. You get booked in a lead on a show that, I mean, nowadays, if you get past one season, it's awesome. So you've got a several season run on this show. You're the lead. You get an Emmy nomination. And now you're talking like, okay, now I'm doing commercials and how is it to navigate the process like that? I mean, does it get into your head sometimes? Like, okay, I'm the lead now, so I can't go backwards. I have to keep going forward. Or how do you approach that? Because I imagine that would be pretty difficult, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question, and I don't ever really. It's not often, at least I would say, that I really sit back and kind of take a look at my resume or take a look at like, oh, how far have I come? And I think it's something that we should all do. And so I actually really appreciate you kind of bringing all that up. And you've obviously done your research and homework, so good on you. But like, to bring up the fact like yeah you did a couple of hit shows, really small parts, and then you got to be the lead, now you're doing this and then you're doing that, and until you really stop and think about the body of work that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
because you're usually only worried about the last thing you did, right? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how was that? Or you're really worried about the next thing. And I think I think once you've been a series regular or you've been a lead of a show, the expectation becomes, okay, well, I'm not doing any more small parts. I'm not going to do any of these little, 5-line things, right?
Right.
And so that shrinks the number of jobs that you can do. But at the same time, you have to kind of hold yourself to a certain standard now, and because if you don't, no one else is going to see you in that light. So
Right.
there's kind of this pressure, this I'm not sure what the right word for it is, but you're just kind of like, I want the next thing that I do to be as good, if not better than the last thing I did. But there's certain things where you're like, okay, this thing might not pop. This might not be a hit show, but I'm gonna do it because the character's awesome, or screw it, the money's really good, and I got nothing else, and I got to pay my rent, or whatever. So yeah, and you just never know. And also, like I auditioned for a show last year or maybe a year and a half ago, and I'm like, what is Ratched? The heck is Ratched?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, Ratchet. But I didn't know. I didn't know what that was going to be. I didn't, because no one tells you. Of course, they're like, oh, Ryan Murphy's the executive producer. Anything he touches turns to gold. But you don't know it's going to be the number one show on Netflix.
Right.
Right.
And so little things like that, I think probably boost the ego more than they do the actual career. But sometimes, honestly, in this business, like your ego sometimes it needs to get checked, but it also needs a little bit of that validation to keep you
Absolutely.
going.
Absolutely. And talk about an experience. I feel like you're a student of the game. So I feel like you come at it with the approach that no matter what, I mean, think about it. It's a Ryan Murphy series, like you said. You're on it. It's going to be a hit. The learning opportunity to be on a set like that, whether you're on one episode or five or whatever it is, the learning opportunity and the things that you can walk away from, with in hand for your career have got to be invaluable in a situation like that.
Yeah, and I think that's the right mindset to go in it. Some people go into those situations still like, oh, I can't believe I only have one episode. The lead's not even that good, and it's like it's just the worst attitude you could have,
Right.
because somebody like Ryan Murphy, everybody, like, I'm at the fitting, and the wardrobe person is like, oh, you're so lucky, like Ryan's so loyal. He uses the same people over and over again. And that's what everybody said. The whole experience was just like, oh, yeah, once you're in with Ryan, like, you're good. And I've never even spoke to Ryan Murphy. He wasn't there. I can't imagine he knows. I can't imagine he knows who I am. He probably saw my face on the in the cut when they were approving the edit or whatever. But you do it, and again, it comes back to expectations where it's like, I'm not expecting to get a call from my agent tomorrow and be like, Ryan Murphy wants you to be the lead of his new show.
Right.
But also, I'm not counting out that happening of like, oh, you got an audition for Ryan Murphy's new show, and maybe he doesn't even know who the heck you are, but at least you got a chance to go in and audition again. You know what I mean? And it's on your resume, and now they can't ignore the fact that you've worked together before or whatever. It's just trying to add on, just continuing to always. I thought of it when I first moved here, and I still think of it this way. It's kind of like a video game where like a linear video game where it's like you have to beat a level to get to the next one kind of thing, not like Madden, but like um, so
It's that
you
sports
start out
analogy.
right. You start out at this base, and you gotta beat this next level, and you're not gonna beat the game in one day. And why would you want to? Like, why would you want to be done with the game like in a day? Like that just seems like you're kind of reaching too far. And so I was like, all right, cool, I beat that level. Now let me go get to the next level. And you just want to keep adding, and that's like anything in life, whether it's acting or you're a doctor or you want to be an athlete or whatever. It's like just be better than you were yesterday,
It,
be better than you were last year, whatever, score more points, make more money, whatever the goal is. Just get better, and just constantly that way in 10 years you can look back and be like, oh wow, I've done a whole bunch of stuff. This is awesome. And maybe it doesn't amount to some crazy career that you're gonna win Emmys and Oscars and go down in history, but maybe it just builds um an incredible story to share with your kids or share with your family
Mm.
someday, of just like, hey, maybe I wasn't Brad Pitt, but damn, I was out in LA for quite a while and I did a bunch of stuff and it was
hell yeah.
really fun. And I got a bunch of cool pictures to prove it, and fun memories and whatever. And that stuff to me is invaluable. I'm such a sentimental person. I just want to keep every picture and every script and every memory locked in so tight.
Definitely, and that's what I really love about this interview. You're not taking anything for granted. You're very humble about where you've come and where you are now, and just all the experiences. Because that's really what we should be living life for, right? Experiences. As long as you have a good one here, you have a good one next year, and bring up different things from the past to help others pursue their dreams. And that's also what we wanted to talk to you about as well. You want to help a lot of up and coming actors break into the entertainment industry, and that's where we're also like minded as well. That's kind of the sole reason why we started the podcast, so we could help the everybody. It doesn't have to just be actor; it could be writer, producer, director, anybody who wants to break into the entertainment industry. They can listen to the podcast and learn this knowledge, and moving forward, they can have a discussion to have with a writer, director, producer that's already established in the industry, so that they can keep moving forward. And I really like that approach to it because, I mean, it's all about helping each other at the end of the day.
Right. And to go back to your point about, just building on experiences and stuff, I have this saying that I love to kind of live by, is that life is an experience that was meant to be experienced.
Mm. Yep.
Like it's everything is an experience. Because who knows what no one knows what the purpose of all of this even is. So like, I don't know, just go experience it, go feel some stuff, go try some things, and help people along the way. I have to attribute a lot of that to just my faith, and just knowing like I want to be a good person, not only to myself and to my family, but to complete strangers. I know uh, you don't do it to receive anything, but I know that's the law of giving. The more you give, the more you receive. And I'm to a place in my life. I was having this conversation with my mother-in-law the other day. I was like, don't you just so much wouldn't you so much rather give presents than
Mm.
get them? Isn't it so
Yeah,
much
Yep.
better to like really see somebody else get excited? And I'm that way too. Like when I moved here, I had quite a few people help me, and I wanna help them, or help other people, excuse me, kind of pay it forward, and just know like this industry is hard, and nobody can really do it on their own. So
That's
like
it.
just rely on me. Like if there's something I can do. Now granted, there's certain things that I can't do or just won't do if I don't know you that well or whatever, but like there's a lot of advice. I mean, even just doing this interview, if one person hears this and is like, oh, that was so cool. Like I did an interview one time a couple of years ago on some podcast that I had never heard of, and just like, yeah, let's do it. And some girl from Spain reached out to me and was like, I heard this interview you did
Mm.
and it was really inspiring, and I just wanted to know if I could email you and ask you a couple questions. And I was like, this is so weird. And I was like, of course, like absolutely. Because Oprah and even like Shaq talks about it. Shaq was talking about it in this interview about how he's a huge investor now, and
Right.
and he said at first when he started investing and switched from being a pro basketball player to trying to be an investor, he was just like, what company's going to make me the most money? And he said all of those investments tanked. every single one of them. But when he started looking at which investment is going to help the most people and make the biggest impact, he's like, all of those investments are home runs, every single one of them. And
That's
Oprah
it.
said the same thing. When you let go of why are you building this business? You're building this business because you want to get rich, you want to get famous. Why did you guys start your podcast? Because you want to get rich, because you want to get huge advertisers who are going to pay you a bunch of money. Well, if that's your intention, like you're not. It's going to be. It's such a shallow goal and mindset. Like
Yep.
all the results you get are going to be equally as shallow. But if you really set out to do something because you want to help and you want to raise awareness, or you just want to be a light to somebody else, I just think that's when everything really starts hitting. And that's, I feel like I'm in a season of that in my life right now. And it's just when you give thanks to a higher power, or you help other people, or you just really try to be the best version of you and be selfless and really try to give, so much comes back. It's just incredible. It's really, really incredible.
Absolutely, man. That's wholeheartedly what the purpose is. Like Logan said, I mean, if we can inspire one person to chase their dream who thought they had no shot at ever doing it, it's worth everything to have somebody, tell you that you were the reason they are successful, or you were the reason that they went after something that they wanted. In fact, just this past week, two young actors who didn't have any kind of like, will we ever do it? Will we make it or whatever? We found out both have meetings with agents. One's booked for a show, and and because of the connection of the podcast, and to us, I mean, dude, when we hear things like that, it's like that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's you just want to see everybody else win. Um, you shift, because we live in a world now where everything is just me, me, me.
Yep.
And it's really, but I think we've seen enough of it now, where there was like the whole selfie movement,
Mm.
where it was like that became such a thing, and that's not really a thing as much anymore, or maybe it's just become normal to us. But I think we've seen so much of the me, 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 that there's this shift kind of happening. At least I hope so. Where there's like this wokeness, that it's really trendy to be woke and care about people and whatever. And honestly, if it's I don't care if it's a trend or what is the motivation behind it. Just the fact that I think people are kind of starting to take notice a little more, and not be as selfish, and call things out that aren't right, and just really try to make things as fair as possible. We live in a crazy world, and it's only getting crazier by the day. It seems like by the hour almost. And so, whatever we can do to help other people, and also it's like, if I can help somebody fulfill their dream, that's awesome. But like, I'd rather help somebody like get a meal today. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Like there's so many people who struggle to be like, man, am I gonna get to eat today? And like, granted, I want anybody who has a dream, I want them to reach that dream and see it, into fruition. But like, there's a lot of other things too that I really want for a lot of people, which is just basic, needs, like food, water, shelter, all that stuff. So, I think a little bit of what we do, there needs to be some perspective, and just always remember in the back of your mind that is, although it is the most important thing to you, a lot of other people really don't care
Mm.
that much, and have a lot of other, more pressing things that could probably be tended to.
Absolutely.
This interview has just been amazing,
Absolutely.
honestly.
I mean, honestly,
Oh,
yeah.
thank
This
you.
dude's just such a good person to have a conversation with about like the entertainment industry, your career, and life in general. What really matters, like that it's not about yourself. There's a whole world out there that we just need to come in touch with and just accept all walks of life because everybody is worth loving. To be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Let's like leave this place a better place than we found it. And if kids are in the future, and raising another generation is in your guys' cards, I definitely hope it is for me. It's like, all right, I want to raise the most polite, respectful, kids that I can, and just be, have an impact on the younger generation, and just keep making this world a better place. And I know it sounds corny, but I wholeheartedly stand behind it, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I don't care who calls me corny. Love is so much better than hate, and I think we can take it out. We just gotta, just generation by generation.
That's it, man. That's it. Not corny at all, dude. My daughter, I always say, is my single greatest accomplishment.
That's
Is to
awesome.
have a child and do what you just said, to raise them up to be a decent and good human being, and then see them go out into the world and continue that trend and to continue to contribute in that kind of a way. There's no greater feeling, dude.
That's awesome. I can't wait to feel that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're gonna love it. Now we can't let you escape though. We normally at the end of the interviews have you pass on some advice. This whole interview's been great
Yeah,
advice,
it's all
but,
over it. Like,
so we're gonna get you to do that, but we cannot let you escape without mentioning your perhaps greatest talent. You're a rapper. The man is a musician, a rapper, and so we can't let you escape without giving us a rap, man.
Oh man.
on the spot freestyle.
Yeah, okay. They got me on the phone. I'm doing the podcast. They asked me to rap. I'm like, whoa, not so fast. I'm talking about acting, and now you got me rapping, doing what I gotta do to make this thing happen. I've been out here for 10 years. I'll do 10 more. Give me the best show. You can keep all the awards. I just want to do right by my family, make a little money, and hang out with my girl because she my fine little honey.
Hey, there we go. I love
I
it.
love it, man. Damn, put him on the spot and he delivered, man. It's like, damn.
Jeez, man. I haven't freestyled like that really like since high school. I mostly just do we like to write stuff and whatever. But I do actually have a new video coming out. It's called Self Tape Life, and it's all about how self tapes are just the worst.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, love it.
So I will make sure that you guys get to see that one. I'm actually shooting the video tomorrow. So very, very excited about that one. Definitely wanted to plug that.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
Oof. But yeah, like he said, what we do at the end of every interview is have our guests leave one piece of advice for the up and coming actors, and then what pitfalls would you say to try to avoid?
Best piece of advice has to be it's a marathon, not a sprint. Take it slow. You have to really love it, because if you don't love it and you're just trying to do it for fame or money or anything like that, you're going to be severely disappointed. It's not going to happen fast enough for you, and then you'll end up quitting. So just know that it's a long haul. Pitfalls would be getting with a bad agency or manager just to say you have one. I think the best thing to do would be to get in class first and foremost and start making connections in the industry, because acting coaches know a lot of agents and managers. They know a lot of casting directors. They're very well connected. And so, if you can get in front of a great acting teacher and really get their time and allow, if they allow you to ask questions and sort of even kind of serve as like a mentor to you, I would do all of that before you start trying to get agents and managers and get to know casting directors and stuff like that. So just get in a good class, because if you're good, they can't ignore the fact that if you're good.
Right.
If you're just good looking, or you have a bunch of followers, or any of that superficial fake stuff, like that stuff they can see right through. But if you're good, you're good. So I guess that's the best advice I have, is that if you're good, you're good. Like, I don't know what else to say.
No, man, like this whole interview was great, and the marathon continues, brother. Like, I'm only seeing super success for you in the future. Like, you're just an epic person to come and talk to us on the podcast. And honestly, open invite. Anytime you want to come back on the show, talk any industry news, we do a top 5 segment, or just come back on to plug something, bro. Anytime, open invite.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. I would definitely take you guys up on that.
Fantastic. And before you go, tell everybody where they can follow you, because we definitely want them to follow you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. My username on all social media is Brett J Green. That's Brett with 1 T. So
There you go.
BRET J Green on all of them.
All right. Well, we will make sure to direct everybody that way, man. And just, again, thanks so much for coming on the show and chatting with us, dude. Extremely inspiring. We could not be more happy. And best of luck, continued success, my friend. And we'll be in touch soon, dude.
All right. Thanks a lot. Best of luck to you guys as well.
Appreciate you. Take care now.
All right. You too. Bye.
See ya. Whoo, boy. I was not expecting that.
No, man, this guy's approach and how he just goes with everything in the flow, like, and we talk about this all the time, but he's one of the first guests who's brought that up about how find another avenue to make some money in between the dry stretches, but don't sell out. Don't go away from the creativity, because you don't have to. And it's so refreshing to hear somebody else with that approach. Like,
Agreed.
Find a way to stay doing what you love even during the dry spells. And man, what a great guy.
Dude, that was so great. Like, there's no other words for it. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Thank you again, Brett Green, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment, man. Oh, this one's difficult. This one is really freaking difficult.
It was.
Of course, brought to you by our podcast producer, Jason, who makes everything in life so damn hard.
He does, man. Give us a break, bro.
I know.
But this one, I mean, like, honestly, these 10 people were like the tip of the iceberg of the amount of people that we could have added to this list that we want on the show.
Exactly.
Have you figured it out? That's our category. What is it?
Exactly.
Guests we want on the show. Dream guests we want on the show.
Dream guest.
I mean, obviously, I think all of you know who both of our number ones are, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. I'm like, oh, man. But my number 5, starting with number 5, this guy, I've been watching his show since the very beginning. I'm talking about Sean Evans from Hot Ones. He has just like shot up to superstardom because it started on YouTube, very low quality set. They kind of just threw everything together. It's an interview segment for celebrities to come on the show, and there's 10 hot wings that various get hotter and hotter, and it's freaking hilarious. I mean, what's that say about human beings? We've talked about this.
It's true.
What's that say about human beings that we find entertainment in other people's pain?
And speaking of high fidelity, Zoe Kravitz handled that shit.
Yeah, she did.
She didn't sweat. She didn't tear. She didn't take any drink at all. Went through it. I was so proud.
I know.
I was so proud.
It's
man.
so badass. But I mean, this thing has grown so much that there is now a whole game show on cable networks.
Yes.
And also they put the interview segment on Hulu as well.
There you go.
They put the YouTube show on Hulu. So Sean Evans, I mean, we've been trying over social media, so hopefully that will happen soon.
Look, our next thing is we're going to line them up. We're going to do our own hot sauce challenge to get you on the show, bro.
Seriously.
To show you we can handle it. We can handle it.
Exactly.
Okay, so now I have to throw an honorable mention before I say my number 5 to Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, she'd
Badass.
be a dream guest I would love to have on the show. But my number 5, no surprise here, you guys, if you've been listening since the beginning, you know I'm a huge Lily Collins fan. Freaking The Last Tycoon. Oh my gosh. I've been following her career since she started way back in The Blind Spot.
Yeah.
Talk about somebody who's grown massively over
Seriously.
the last several years in her career. She is just absolutely slaying it. Emily in Paris most recently. But just, I mean, phenomenal young woman. And just a brilliant actress and a great author. Unfiltered was a fantastic book. Just everything about, and she's Phil Collins' kid.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, just that alone makes her epic, but epic in her own right. And yes, Lily Collins, I would love to have on the show. Come on the show and talk to us.
Oh my goodness. My number 4, I'm just going to throw it out there because this guy is huge right now. He's like damn near as huge as The Rock. Talking about star-wise. Will Smith. Will Smith is a super fucking badass. I even loved Wild Wild West, even though that movie was awful.
Yeah, no.
But he made that movie entertaining.
Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West, and did the soundtrack. I loved. I grew up watching his stuff. I mean, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Men in Black, fucking Hancock. Like, dude, this guy is an amazing actor that basically came from nothing, and he can still freaking rap. Like, amazing.
I just had this brilliant idea because Tyson is fighting everybody right now. He's like, come on, let's do these charity events or whatever. Will Smith. I think I can beat Mike Tyson. Well, prove it. Now you can prove it. Let's do this. You bulked up for Ali, man. Get back in the gym and let's see.
That'd be badass.
I think I can beat Mike Tyson. I mean, I just popped in my head, but it would be brilliant. See now, because like J-Lo said, come on the show and talk to us about that, bro. That'd be epic. That'd be epic.
It really would.
Okay, no surprise here on this one either. Favreau.
Yes.
Why? Because I love film, directing, producing, acting, right? Everything about film, television, all of that. I love The Mandalorian, everything, blah, blah, yeah. But I also love to cook.
Yeah,
and the man's got the chef show. It's brilliant. I can't wait to watch it every time the new seasons come out and everything. I want to talk to Jon Favreau about film, and cooking.
And cooking.
Because it would be epic. I can't even imagine how epic it would be to share some recipes with Jon Favreau and share some film talk and just, it would be epic.
I agree.
Enough said.
It'd be so good. I would love to talk about him as his little stint on Friends and how awful
Yes!
that was. Like,
I mean, just so many. Like, oh man.
I know. I really would need to watch Swingers. The one with, isn't that the one with him and Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn? Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. Yep, you'll love it.
Goodness gracious. Number 3, no surprise. Who the fuck? I mean, when they heard this shit, of course, the one and only, my man, Patrick Dempsey. McDreamy, coming back. Of course, we can talk about Grays, all that good shit. I just want to know what's going on in his life. What'd you do yesterday, bro? What's up?
You still racing? You good?
That's good.
You know?
What hair product do you use? How do you make it so nice every single time? I just want to know.
I love him because from the 80s. Can't Buy Me Love. Remember that with Amanda Peterson? And just, I've been a huge fan of Patrick Dempsey also. Not quite as big a fan as J-Lo. But huge fan. He'd be epic to talk to.
He would.
He's just, seems like a really great guy.
He does.
I mean, he'd be a fun conversation.
I pre-ordered your Funko. I'm just saying.
There you go. There you go. I knew it. Had to happen. You knew that was going to happen. My number 3 is the current it girl of the moment, but I have been a fan long before anybody even knew who she was. There you go. Zendaya.
Yeah.
I mean, just to see her skyrocket from Disney Channel to where she's at now. They're talking potential Oscar nomination for her, so I'm all, and we talked about it in the news. Euphoria. Ooh,
so freaking good.
I mean, this woman is just absolutely
Emmy winning, like
slaying
amazing.
It. Yeah, she already got the Emmy. Let's go ahead and give her the and plus they're talking about doing her in the biopic for Ronnie Spector, so she could get the ego.
So good.
I mean, she could give her everything: the Tony, the Oscar, the Grammy.
She deserves it.
She does, and I would just love to talk to her honestly about life and how she came up and where she's grown and how she's gotten there. I mean, we had Adam Irigoyen on and talked about what kind of a person she was, and it would just be epic to really get to know her and talk to her, and I bet we could get deep in that conversation about some issues going on because she's very aware.
Yeah.
Plus, what is Tom Holland like?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
what
if
is
anybody
he really
got
like?
the lowdown, is Spidey really cool or what?
Exactly.
Zendaya would have it.
Talk about that umbrella fucking lip sync battle.
That's right.
That'd be so
my
great.
gosh, that's so great.
Oh man, my number 2 also comes by no surprise. This is the guy I basically aspire to fucking be. Everybody knows we are writers, directors, so this is the guy I looked up to the most. Like him with Jon Favreau, me, Kevin Smith.
Yes.
This is literally fucking the type of filmmaker I want to be. Hearing him tell his stories about going on set and shooting, and then after everybody's done for the day, relaxing, he's in the editing bay, editing the movie together so everybody can see how it's going to look like, and so that they can all see before the actual premiere and everything. That helps people, like, just track how the movie is going. He is my type of dude, so down to earth and fucking just amazing. Of course, podcaster as well, grandfather podcaster, so I mean, he's an amazing guy.
And comic book geek.
And a comic book geek.
Huge comic book geek and a hockey fan. I want to talk to him about the jerseys.
I know, right?
And directing Supergirl and Flash, and
awesome.
He wrote an entire arc of the Green Arrow comic book series, and it was one of the most acclaimed arcs in the history of the book. So
exactly.
I would love, so much to talk to him about.
And the Batman is part of like his fucking comic book for his version of the Batman and this new Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
so good. So that's right. Yeah, with the gun for
I know
so much. Okay, my number 2 is probably the equivalent of your Patrick Dempsey.
It makes sense.
I mean, but I'm just gonna say, you know who he is. He's the best there is at what he does, but what he does isn't very nice. I'm kidding. Everything he does is nice.
Yeah, he's
but you
super
know who I'm
nice.
talking about? The greatest showman himself, Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
I love this guy. I absolutely
He's
love
amazing.
this guy. Everything from his coffee. You guys know he's got his own coffee brand. Fantastic actor, director, producer, singer, extraordinaire, just everything he does, and a badass Wolverine.
Yes.
I'm just going to say it. A badass Wolverine. That's where I got to know him, obviously, and then everything since, but...
and I feel like him and I are connected because James Logan. I'm James Logan.
Right?
So
Right?
I feel like we're connected in some
I just
way.
feel like this guy would be an epic conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. His battle with skin cancer, we could dive deep into all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
with him, too. And, of course, the battle with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Everything.
And the battle with the people about washing his hands.
Yes.
yeah,
I mean, just social media, man.
I know.
Social media.
Oh goodness.
All right, number one.
Of course.
Should be no surprise on both of our lists because we give the only O that matters the big shout out at the end of every show. You guys have been hearing us talk about this for 2.5 years now. We want Oprah on the show.
Yes.
Somehow, some way, we are going to make this happen at some point. Whether we got to go through Gail, whether we got to go through Stedman, or whoever, we want Oprah on the show.
She's like the epitome of the American dream. Rags to riches.
I mean,
she's the ultimate hustler.
Yes, and literally has overcome so much. Not just being poor, but the assaults on the sexual assaults.
Yeah,
and, like
drugs.
The drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, the weight gain and loss, and just like her story is absolutely phenomenal. And she would be so inspiring to talk to. She's inspiring anyway, but to talk to her and be able to like just.
I know.
Come on, Oprah.
One day.
Oh, we've given you a shout out on like 120 something shows, man. Come on, Oprah. Come on.
Oh man, such a good top 5 segment. Great job, Jason. I mean, he's killing it every single week. I mean, like we've said last week, I mean, he's got basically until summer planned out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, bravo to him, man. Bravo. Now going over to the box office recap. We talked a little bit about it in the industry news, but the Croods, I mean, it was huge. It was absolutely huge.
Yeah.
It's like the new age animated film right now. Croods New Age, like I said, came in at 9.7 million, number 1. Number 2, everything else kind of fell below $1 million.
Yeah, way below.
Yeah. Number 2 was Freaky, that Vince Vaughn one.
Yep.
Came in at 770,000, 100,000.
That's right.
And then War with Grandpa came in at 644,000.
Bobby's still hanging.
Bobby still there, Mike.
Still hanging.
He's still there. I'm so excited about the Hollywood producer.
Me too.
One with him
that one's going to be so good.
I agree. Number 4 was Let Him Go with 459,000, and number 5 was Come Play with 389,000.
There you go.
So yeah, there it is, guys. There it is. And new movies coming out, possibly near you. The Lost Adjuster, Nomadland, All My Life, Wander, Half Brothers. No idea. No idea. Do you know?
Likely to see any of them until they hit a streamer.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And movies you can still go see in a select theater maybe near you: Honest Thief, Elf, Tenet, The Santa Claus, and the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It only makes sense at all the Christmas movies. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now, heading over to the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. Oh, man, you guys know we love this app. We cook with it. We clean with it. We use, like, the little sanitizer water. Like,
we do everything with it except shower.
Oh, whatever.
He showers.
Don't lie. Don't lie. He's just lying to you guys. It's okay.
I don't shower with it.
You don't?
I don't. I don't. I have it. I don't shower with it, though. It's right there.
Don't lie to the people. It's fine. The top trending movie was Happiest Season.
Of which we told you about.
Exactly. The top trending show is The Crown.
Yes.
And the top trending star is Anya Taylor-Joy, who's just been rocking and rolling. After I catch up on Euphoria, Queen's Gambit is like a need be.
Most definite.
Like that limited series I heard is huge right now and so good. And plus I'm learning how to play chess, so it has a lot to do with chess. So.
She'd kick your ass.
Oh, probably. Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how good he is yet. We haven't played.
Exactly.
But,
Probably. We got to thank our guests one more time for getting crazy with us. Brett Green for coming on the show. Episode 141. We got to thank our fans for listening again to 141. Of course, be sure to follow him on social media. He's just Brett J. Green, I believe, right?
Brett J. Green.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep.
And be sure to follow us on social media at Crazy Ant Media and at ItCaf Podcast, the company and the podcast, and follow us both personally on social media. Myself at JLo Fantastic on all social media platforms, and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970 on all podcast platforms or social media platforms,
whichever,
anywhere, everywhere.
Exactly, that's fine. You can listen to this podcast anywhere you find your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so many more. We're everywhere, guys.
We are everywhere.
Of course, everybody knows we also have a YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button on the video, subscribe, ring that bell for all the greatest and latest notifications of our crazy ass us videos
Yes.
because you guys want to come get crazy with us. It's freaking amazing right now, and we appreciate it. We also have like a little tiny contest have it going on with our female ant character that we're gonna. It's kind of the Bonk and somebody, kind
Yes.
of like Mickey and Minnie.
Right. Name Bonk's girlfriend, guys.
Name
if
Bonk's
you do, you
girlfriend.
get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
You know, that's a fun win-win.
Exactly.
And you get to claim when we are bigger than the mouse, because we will be. You get to claim you named her.
Exactly.
I mean, come on now. It's
Exactly.
brilliant.
Exactly. And visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, to shop for all the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear that is on there right now. Like we said,
Yes.
holiday merch is available now, so be sure to check that out and open your presents on Christmas morning with a Bonk shirt. And yeah, guys, it's been a freaking amazing episode, honestly. My favorite thing that we talked about this week was the whole Warner Brothers theatrical release, HBO Max. That's huge. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. That is absolutely insane.
And it's going to, my favorite part too, and it really is, by prefacing it with Disney's dominance, it really is going to come down to, we talk about it all the time, the mouse versus the bunny, and what will Disney's move be now?
Yeah.
You know, so you can guarantee, we will probably be talking about that on next week's show.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever Disney does. So,
Exactly.
Man.
I know. It was a lot, guys. It was a lot. Just a lot of big news that broke this week. I'm so super excited. They finally confirmed Kate Bishop.
Yes.
Because, I mean, there was all that back and forth. Everybody was kind of like, eh.
I really think COVID had a lot to do with it, though.
Yeah.
Because there was a scheduling thing with her for her Apple series there. But it got shut down because of COVID, which I guess freed her up.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. Yeah, we're so super excited. We're so super excited. And, of course, our number one on the dream guest that we want to come on the show. We love you. We know you know Oprah.